Hello, and welcome back to another video where I do my level best to explain the mechanics to the best of my abilities of the game Book of Hours, at the very least the mechanics that I understand so far. I want to go over more in depth of each of the cards panels down at the bottom of this video. The first panel that we have is Memories and Lessons. Memories and Lessons are about what they sound like. They contain cards that are categorized as either a memory or a lesson. A memory is described as something remembered, might be something understood. Memories can be used to help with crafting and to upgrade skills. Memories disappear each dawn, except persistent ones. Memories can be used in consider. If I were to consider something, I could also add a memory into that. See here, if I were to try to consider this card, it would require 4 memories. And I could, if the memory was the right type, add that into this slot. Memories can also be used when talking to people. This is the talk function, and if I were to have a person to talk to, I could discuss with them a memory, and then they would gain the attributes that that memory carries. The second panel is the elements of the soul. It is what it sounds like. I like to think of it as soul. The elements of the soul are things such as health, which makes sense. Then there are more abstract elements such as Wist, Core, Fet, Arab, Trist, Faust, and Shapt, which are ones that I have discovered so far. The element of the soul has the description that each soul card can be used once a day for the kind of things you do with your soul. This usually means talking to people or crafting. When a crafting table or consider requires effort, soul is that effort. The next panel is skills and languages. Once again, what it sounds like, it contains cards that are either skills or languages. A skill is described merely as anything can be learnt, everything can be forgotten. A language, as it sounds, is a skill that can be used to read particular books among other much less important things. Some of the books in the Hush House are in languages you do not know, and in order to read them, you must use a skill card of that language. Normal skills have aspects, and each of them correspond to 1 to 2 branches of the Tree of Wisdom. They can be used in mostly every task. They can be used for considering books. They can be used on crafting tables and reading desks. The last tab is Sundries. Sundries contains things such as money, discussion topics, and order forms. Discussion topics, or incidents as they're actually called, will usually remain relevant for several seasons. Visitors will continue to visit in the hiatus before the next incident. Visitors come by and you can talk to them about this incident, which is why I call it a discussion topic. Money can be used to pay people. Spintra are tallies, which are the consensus currency of the invisible world, wildly unofficial, eternally consistent, aka magic money. Whereas normal money is pence, and it comes in forms like penny and shilling. All of these tabs contain cards that can be used in exploring the Hush House. I had touched upon aspects, and I want to go into more detail with them. I'm not certain what they are actually called, as there's a very little tutorial in this game, and if I was ever taught their names, I've forgotten. But aspects are what I call these squares up in the corner. They are things such as lantern, sky, weather, and memory, which are the aspects of this card, Sunny. It is a memory. It is a memory of the sun because today it is sunny, and that brings lantern and sky, which makes sense. It's a bright day, and it's a memory of the sun. My soul also has aspects. This soul, core, has grail and heart as its aspects, along with element of the soul and occupant. The way that aspects are organized First is the aspects, then the descriptors. The aspects being grail and heart, and the descriptors being element of the soul and occupant. They're all aspects, but the first are more abstract. Skills, of course, also have aspects. This one is Forge, Sky, Skill, Horomakristry, and Ithistry. Those first two, they are the more aspect, the more abstract, Forge and Sky, then a descriptor of skill, and then the two wisdoms from the Tree of Wisdom that the skill is related to. This discussion topic has relevancy, grail, and nectar. Those are the abstract aspects. Then acted, Rowena and Aunt M. Those are two people that have come by and spoken to me about this. Then this one, which is just a question mark. Interesting. Don't remember that at all. And then incident, a descriptor. This thing is an incident. Money only has one aspect, and it's telling me pence. That's a descriptor. These aspects tell me how I can interact with things. Even objects such as desks have aspects. This desk has heart, lantern, moon, and sky, which means that only things that have those aspects can be used with this desk. This soul has moth, rose, which means it cannot be used with this desk because this desk only uses heart, lantern, moon, and sky. It does not use moth or rose. Core, however, uses heart, which means I can use it in this desk. Books also have aspects. A book will have an aspect such as tally price, which is how much it would cost to buy it as far as I'm aware. A mystery, readable thing, as the subject, the codex, and the baronial period. First aspect is tally price. I believe that tells me how much it costs. Then the mystery. Books that I have not read have a mystery. That is how many forge aspect I would need in order to read this book. Then we go to the descriptors. It's readable. All books are readable. As I highlight over this aspect of readable, I can see everything flashing that contains that aspect, all of the books. Thing. Anything that is a thing, which is exactly as it sounds, has this aspect. Subject, Disciplines of the Hammer. That tells me that this book contains that subject. Perhaps if I were to read it, I could get a lesson about it. Then Codex. Any book that is a codex gets to have this. Mostly all books are codexes. Baronial period is another descriptor. It tells me when this book was written. Beyond just objects in the Hush House, rooms of the Hush House have aspects as well, such as, typically, just the time period it was made in. This garden has the aspect of open air. This Abbey Church has the Solar Gothic period, which tells me that's when it was made. This pantry, made in the baronial period. Mostly everything in the Hush House seems to have been made in the baronial period. At least everything I've discovered. These aspects also show up in rooms that I have not opened yet. This room is called the Stopped Clock. It is essential. It needs assistance. And required, it needs either Winter, Sky, or Forge. This means that I need someone else who has 10 Winter, 10 Sky, or 10 Forge in their aspect in order to open this room. This room, the Weeping Chamber, also needs assistance. It needs 10 Sky, or 10 Heart, or 10 Forge. And since it needs assistance, I cannot open it myself, unfortunately. Beyond the Hush House, the rest of the town also has aspects. This house, called the Rectory, where a reverend lives, has the aspect of lantern and knock, which looks like a key. That means that if I were to talk to the Reverend, he would be able to have those two aspects. This house, which is Mrs. and Mr. Kill, can use Winter or Grail if I were to talk to them. This house has no aspect because the postmistress does not offer to help me. This house has Edge, Forge, and Heart if I were to talk to the smithy. And since this place does not offer any assistance naturally, it does not tell me what aspect it is. However, if I were to offer a soul, and then if I were to add a coin, I could perhaps get assistance. The visitor that I found is a musician. He provides sky, rose, and nectar, which means those are the aspects that he will have. I can see if any of my rooms have a matching aspect that the musician also contains. This room has 10 sky. This room also has 10 sky. This room does not contain sky, rose, or nectar. This room has 7 nectar. I know that it will be easier to get this musician to have 7 nectar than 10 sky, so I will focus on that. As I mentioned earlier, speaking to people can increase their aspects. Things that I can speak to people about are primarily memories, soul, and then I can also feed them. I'll look through my soul to see if I have any that have nectar. If I hover my mouse over an aspect, it highlights anything that contains that. This lets me know that the only soul I have that has nectar is health. This means that it might be best if I have a memory that contains nectar. I will go check my memory box, my bookshelf full of books that when I read give me memories, and see if I have any that can give me nectar. The only book that I have is Impulse, which gives me 1 moth and 1 nectar. That means that I would have 2 nectar, and I would somehow need to get 5 more nectar. The only things that I can do are discuss via tools and food. So I'll see if I have any food that has nectar. Lescott's compounds have 1 nectar, but I do not know if I can feed them to anyone. The misshapen fruit has 1 nectar, but if that would only leave me with 3 nectar total, and I would still need 4, so I will see if there's anything with more nectar I can feed to him. Thurza's cordials have 2 nectar, so I'm going to put it in my inventory because that seems useful. Dandelion wine also has 2 nectar, and because it is a beverage, it's more likely that my man will actually be able to drink it, so I'll also put that in my inventory. I think the best food stuff that I can get will be 2 nectar, so I'll see if there's any tools that have nectar that I can use. This watering can is a tool. It only has 1 nectar, but it's better than nothing, so I'll hold on to it for now. I can't find any other tools, but these chairs, which are comfort, also have a nectar. I believe I can talk to someone using comfort, so I'll grab onto that. Totaling up everything that I have 1 nectar from my health. I have 1 nectar from my watering can. I have 1 nectar from a gardening chair, and I have 2 nectar from dandelion wine. That's 5 nectar total. I would need 2 more nectar, but the only memory that I have is 1 nectar, which means I can only have a best of 6 nectar. However, the passing by musician will already have nectar when I talk to him, because he offers that, which means that I will most likely be able to get him up to the amount of nectar that I want. In his aspects, we have forms, and it's the aspect employable, and 24 fee, which means he needs 24 pence in order for me to pay him, in order for him to work for the day. 10-shilling note is 120 pence, so it's enough to pay him. I'll get the remainder left over. Now I simply have to talk to him about everything else. Because he already had nectar, we're already at 6. Very exciting. I only need to talk to him about one of these objects up top. It turns out that I can't talk to him with a gardening chair, which means I'll have to talk to him with this tool. The traveling musician now has nectar of 7. If I pick him up, I can see that he can be used to unlock the deserted well. I've opened the well! Ooh, I can find things in it. I'll wait 2 minutes and see what I get back. I got isle water from the well. That has the aspect of moon, winter, a descriptor of thing, liquid, beverage, restorative, to serve, and heart. How interesting. To serve means that I can use a store of glasses or cups to pour it out. That would exist, I believe, over here. Serve here. Restorative means that I can use it to recover from maladies. Beverage means it's drinkable, and liquid, as it sounds, is a liquid. How exciting. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you learned a little bit more about this lovely game and its complexities.